day threatened to bring her undone. Familiar pain and anger, combined with a deep loss and a yearning for answers, surged through her. She compressed her lips against the sudden rush of emotions and made an effort to push the thoughts aside. She was at work. Now wasn't the time to fall apart. As usual, she took refuge in her job. She flashed her badge at the huddle of fresh-faced, uniformed policemen who stood inside the blue and white checked crime scene tape that cordoned off part of the scrubby bank of western Sydney's Nepean River. Not far away, photographers and TV crews haggled over positions. "We're Detectives Cooper and Baxter, Penrith Local Area Command," Ellie said to one of the young officers. "We're here about a head?" The officer nodded and offered his hand. "I'm Constable Jacobs, Richmond Police Station. I took the call from Griffin." "Griffin?" Ellie asked. "Yeah, the bloke who found it." His gaze flicked toward the crowd and his voice turned dry. "And presumably the one who called the media." "Where is he?" "I put him in the back of the squad car. I thought he'd gotten enough camera exposure for today." Luke and Ellie looked toward the police cruiser. The profile of a man seated in the back seat could be seen in the late afternoon light. "What's his story?" Luke asked. Jacobs consulted his notebook. "He came down after lunch for a spot of fishing. Apparently the fish were biting, so he didn't notice the bag right away." "The bag?" Ellie asked. "Yeah, the head's wrapped in a trash bag." He glanced at his notebook again. "Anyway, he was here about an hour when he had to take a leak, walked over there a bit." Jacobs pointed in the direction of a stand of bottlebrush trees nearby. Their scrubby branches provided effective cover from the road 20 meters away. "That's where he says he found it." Ellie was relieved the area had been included within the taped barrier and nodded toward the young constable. "Good work on securing the scene, Jacobs." He flushed. "Thanks, Detective." She looked at Luke. "Let's go and talk to our fisherman." "I'll get the camera from the car," he responded. "We need to get a few pictures before we lose the light." He glanced back at Jacobs. "Anyone call the morgue?" "Yes, I got onto them straight after I called it into the station." "Good thinking, Constable. Shows initiative," Ellie said. "Why don't you join me while I talk to our witness?" Eagerness lit up the young constable's eyes. "That would be awesome. I can't wait to apply for the detective's course. I know I've only just come out of the academy, but it's all I've ever wanted to do, and—" "Jacobs," she interrupted gently. "Let's just get on with it, okay?" Ellie hid her amusement. She wasn't that old that she couldn't remember feeling exactly the same way. Even in the fading light, Ellie saw the mortification that flooded his expression and felt a twinge of guilt, but they were wasting time, and in homicides, every second counted. Turning abruptly, she made her way through the tall grass toward the squad car that was parked a short distance away. Jacobs stumbled behind her. Ducking under the police tape, she came up to the vehicle and rapped her knuckles on the glass. The man she presumed was Bill Griffin unwound the window and stared up at her with wary blue eyes. His wild gray hair was windblown and in desperate need of a shampoo. Grizzled cheeks covered in a rough beard emphasized the belligerent thrust of his chin. He smelled like fish, river mud, and body odor. A damp Hessian bag lay on the ground near the car, along with a fishing rod and tackle box. "Mr. Griffin, I'm Detective Cooper." Ellie indicated Jacobs behind her. "I think you've already met Constable Jacobs."
"Yeah, I already told him everything."
"Okay, but we've got a head lying in a trash bag over there, and so far, you're the only witness." He shot a furtive glance at the Hessian bag, and suddenly his reticence made sense. "I'm not from fisheries," she added. "I couldn't care less whether you have a license, how many fish you have in there, or how big they are. That's between you and them. All I'm interested in is how a woman's head came to be lying in a bag under a tree near the river." She gave him a hard look. "You got that?" Griffin gave a reluctant nod and his gaze slid away.
"It's just like I told him."
He gestured with a dirty finger to where Jacob stood beside Ellie.
"I was doing a spot of fishing, like I always do, right here every Friday. Fish were biting good. I'd gone through half my bait already, and I'd only been here an hour."
He paused to scratch a scab on his arm.